Industry plays a big role to frame the economy of a country. Students, we have already studied what is industry and how the industry is playing a role to form or to grow the economy of a country. But is there any history of industry in our country? Welcome back, students. I am your SST teacher Vandana Joshi and you are watching SST June. Students, today we are going to study an interesting topic in our new chapter in history that is related to the weavers, iron smelters and the factory owners during the British period. India has a glorious part in the history of industries, especially in the history of textiles, handicrafts and the iron smelting. So students, in our today's video, we are going to discuss about the Indian textile, its world market and the condition of weavers during the British period. In this chapter, we will also study how the colonial system influenced to the Indian weavers and Indian textile industry. Before the advent of British, India led the world in the production of cotton textile. Indian textile were known for fine quality and highly refined craftsmanship. Indian companies started importing Indian textile to Europe in the 16th century. In the 17th century, India exported large quantities of cotton and silk fabrics, spices, indigo, sugar, precious stones, opium, etc. Out of these, cotton textiles became very popular and one of the most important exports to the West. As the British established political control over India by the mid 17th century, they started earning a lot of profit from the duty-free inland trade. During the first half of the 19th century or even up to 1880s, India's economy saw a strange phenomenon. While Western countries were experiencing industrialization, India suffered a period of industrial decline. This process has been described as deindustrialization. Till the end of 18th century, Indian textiles dominate the world market. It was not easy to stop their sale all of a sudden. The specialized craftsmen produced goods of utility and luxury for domestic and world market. The cotton textiles production was carried on in Dhaka, Banaras, Krishnanagar, Lucknow, Agra, Multan, Surat, Ahmedabad and Madurai. Calico and muslin were the two famous types of textiles considered by people as important luxury item. So, if India has this glorious part in the textile industry, so what was the reason behind the decline of Indian textile industry? What was the condition of Indian textile in European market? It was the time when spinning jenny invented by John Cai. The competition with Indian textiles led to new technological inventions in Britain. There was one more invention of rotary carding engine, which was a revolutionary invention in the cotton textile weaving. But this did not mean the end of Indian textile and its dominance in the world trade in the 18th century. Still, most European trading companies, including the Dutch, the French, and the English, made big profits from trade. With the political conquest of Bengal, the company gained a monopoly over the raw material from Bengal. The British forced Indians to give the cotton at the lowest possible prices. They forced the weavers to accept the cheapest rate. Also, they monopolized the rate of raw cotton. As a result, the Bengal weavers had to pay very high prices to buy raw cotton. The British imposed heavy duties and tax on Indian goods, while the British goods were chiefly free from them. It made the Indian goods costlier, so they could not stand in comparison to the British goods. Still, the Indian goods were produced using hand or small tools, while the British goods were produced in large factories using machines. The machine made goods were cheaper in price and finer in quality. Moreover, the industries in England required raw materials in a very large quantity, so the British procured raw material from India in bulk. The Indian peasants and traders were interested in large scale sale of raw material to the British, due to which the Indian industries were starved of raw materials. All the European countries made a good profit from Indian textile industry, and it was also a reason to decline the Indian industry. But after that, what was the condition of Indian artisans and the weavers, and how the handicraft of India was influenced by this monopoly of the British? Before the invention of machineries in the textile industry, the Indian textile was under the weavers. So, who were the weavers? Weavers were the person who specialized to make clothes. They were also known as Tanti in Bengal and Julaha in the North Middle India. Before invention of spinning jenny, they usually weaved the clothes through charkha or katli. They also used the loom to weave the clothes. There were a lot of workers, not only weavers, even bunkers, rangraj, chapigars also included in the work of textile. But after British rule, it was a decline of Indian textile. So, after the decline of Indian textile, what was the condition of Indian weavers and other artisans? So, let's see what was the condition of their. As after the industrialization of textile industry in India, the Indian artisan and craftsmen were rendered jobless. They sought work with the British factories. They were employed on the basis of discriminatory rules. They were paid less and made to work more. Also, a craftsman once employed could not leave his job. If he did so, he was arrested and punished. The development of cotton industries in Britain affected textile producers in India in several ways. Due to decline of Indian textile industry, weavers and spinners lost their livelihood and became agricultural laborers, thus putting more pressure on the already overburdened agriculture. Some migrated to cities to work in the new cotton mills of Bombay, Ahmedabad, Sholapur, Nagpur, Kanpur, etc. Some of them went out of country to work in plantation in Africa and South America. But handloom weaving did not completely die in India. This was because some types of clothes could not be supplied by machines. So, what happened after decline of Indian textile? After decline of Indian textile, there was a industrialization of Indian textile by the British. The first cotton mill in India was set up by Britishers as a spinning mill in Bombay in 1854. We can say cotton was the first industry to be set up in India. The cotton mill of Bombay soon developed as the most famous center for cotton. Gradually, cotton industries appear at other places, which are Nagpur, Solapur, and Ahmedabad. The establishment of modern industries in India began in the second half of 19th century and early 20th century. But the growth was at a very slow rate as the British never wanted India as industrially developed country. In the mid 18th century, the Indian also started a textile industry in India. In 1853, a Indian textile mill started in Ahmedabad, Gujarat. But due to monopoly of European companies in the textile market, the Indian textile industry was not boomed up during that time. So students, it was the history of Indian textile during the British period. In our next video, we will discuss about one more industry during the British period, and that is iron and steel industry. So for that, keep watching SST Zone.